Happy Cinco de Mayo! Hooray!
Ah, that's right.
A holiday
Minor
I
victory
never,
over the French.
I grew up, exactly. I grew up in Texas, and there was never maybe one or two instances where the school would kind of do something, but treating it like a real holiday didn't happen. And then I
No,
was looking it up
they
today.
don't
It's
treat
like
it like
it's
a
not even
holiday in
all.
Mexico,
They had one battle against the French in
which they
1840,
won. But
but
then the French won the war and dominated. Maximilian dominated them for, I don't know, a period of time. It wasn't very long,
yeah.
but that's where they got those yummy bolillos so that you can have your tortas, the French
Yes.
bread. At least when the French come and colonize you, they leave decent food.
They leave some cool food behind.
We get banh mi from the Vietnamese because of the French rolls and
Oh, of
the
course we
baguettes, right?
do. Yeah.
Yeah, and vermicelli, and they brought the vermicelli. I love a vermicelli bowl. But anyway,
Anyway, colonization. Oh boy. Yay. That's what we're celebrating on Cinco
yeah,
de Mayo.
yeah. And you
Is
know who made it a big? Now I'm going to make a bold statement here, and people
which
might.
corporation was it?
It was it was the people who make Corona.
Oh,
So
Smith Corona.
Corona was trying to break in. Corona is considered a low grade beer in Mexico, and Gambrinus Importing bought the rights to bring it into the United States. And so, whenever you have a beer that's considered a crappy beer in the place it comes from, you have to dress it up. Like Foster's from Australia. Nobody in Australia drinks.
Three Fosters.
No, they just won't. So the crap beer there is,
Well, think of Lone Star beer.
yeah, oh, even lower, like Falstaff. It's more like Falstaff or something like that. So anyway, they wanted to make a big thing about Corona, which is a very light lager, supposed to be served super cold, and it's a beach beer. And so they made a big thing about Cinco de Mayo, and they went to every bar and they said, "We will give you free Corona if you will push this thing and make it a big holiday." And suddenly, Cinco de Mayo is in
Cinco de Mayo
America,
is a
only in
thing.
America.
Only in America.
But that's what the Guinness did that to St. Patty's Day in America too. They don't celebrate St. Patty's Day in Ireland by getting drunk. They go to church. It's it's a high holy day there, but here
Yeah.
it's a drinking day.
Yeah, it's that's funny. Also, highly literate listeners, if there are any, will notice that I almost made the mistake of saying Smith Corona, which is the brand of typewriter, not a brand of beer.
That's correct. That's right, and not to be confused with
Also,
Smith
I
and
was
Wesson.
just
Smith and
thinking,
Wesson.
like, what was Budweiser always a crappy beer, or when the original guy, the German immigrant, started the brewery, was he actually making something good he remembered from the old country, and it just
As I
changed?
understand it, they told me the original Budweiser and the original Miller and Schlitz and all those were made the old-fashioned lager way, and they were decent lagers.
Yeah.
But Budweiser decided to sell more beer. They would, because it's very hot here, where it is not in Germany. So they would sell more beer if they kept it lighter and colder.
Mm.
The lighter and colder, the more beer they sold. So there you go.
There
And
you
that
go.
was before they switched to light beers, Bud Light
Yeah,
and Miller Light.
but by
Because if
comparison,
you drink a Miller, yeah,
it'd be a very watery beer by comparison to.
the Germans. Yeah, so if you had a Miller High Life here, it's actually a pretty tasty beer. It's not, but it's not. The Germans would not.
No,
They
but
would not
it's
approve.
like a good afternoon drinking beer for my
Exactly.
beer
It's a
drinking days, which I'm not in anymore. But yeah,
right.
Miller actually was kind of like, yeah, you know,
It was the champagne of beers.
it was kind of
I
like
think that's
that.
what they called it.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about this because, yay, I finally saw the Sweet
Oh, you saw
Smell
the
of
movie?
Success,
Yeah.
which I keep almost calling The Secret of My Success, which is the Michael J. Fox movie.
Right.
One of those, there's a YouTube channel that shows old Siskel and Ebert shows in their
Oh,
entirety.
cool.
They reviewed The Secret of My Success. Totally hated it. They're like, this is like some kind of stupid sitcom farce that's like something we've seen a million times. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of why I thought it was kind of stupid but fun. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know. Anyway, and now I watch those old movies of his. I hate to say this, but looking for signs of Parkinson's starting to happen to him.
Oh, wow. Do you do that?
You can see him starting to hide like one hand or the other in a pocket and this and that and the other. Anyway, it's
Well,
terrible, but
I will say this in the Back to the Future series, he
yeah,
started doing this weird thing where he would turn to the side and go, "Oh, Doc," and
yeah.
with one hand. And I was like, it just
Mm.
seemed like an odd posture to me.
He didn't know
But
what it was yet, but he was, as an actor, he's got his
he
whole
was
instrument. And he's
compensating.
self-conscious about it also. So it like one of the things that I was definitely noticing and enjoying in Sweet Smell of Success was the cinematography,
Oh
black
yeah.
and white, actually on the streets of New York at night and daytime. So when you see them talking on this side of the street, but in the background, you got the lights of the shops back there, they're balancing for those real lights and then just putting a little bit up here. And like, so it's close to documentary because you know what? And they must
Yeah.
have gotten some new fast film stocks that were just being invented.
There's a
And,
great
but
interview
then
with
balancing
James
it,
Hong
and of
about that.
course, it was James Wong Howe.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, that's cool because he hit he was hitting career peaks in the golden MGM 1930s days. Probably started in the silent age, but here he is in 1957, learning new tricks and saying, "Let me show you how to do this," and really nailing it. And it was just excellent to watch his black and white cinematography. And
They
then it's
were
like it's post noir, it's post Italian post war neo realism. He's thought of all this, probably went out, shot a lot of test footage at night in Times Square and stuff like, how can I
a lot
get
of
this to
bounce
work?
boards.
Yeah, a lot of bounce
Because he
boards.
said they would look for a street light or something to be their main
They're key, and
their
then
key, and they would bounce to fill in, and they would make sure that they had enough light on people's faces so that, like you said, if you wanted to get a neon sign or something from across the street, it wouldn't blow out the shot.
not a single soft focus like, oops, we couldn't quite get it right while eyeballing it. Honestly, it's like, no, it was down in there. And of course, the whole
They're
movie has this sort of morally murky, shady stuff. So,
It's cynical as hell. It's
it's
very cynical.
J.J. Hunsaker,
Hunsaker.
Hunsaker, or Lancaster. He's like,
AJ Hunsaker.
wearing a hat, so he's always shaded and stuff. Um, so that was fun, and but then by the end of the movie, I was like, wait a minute, there's the whole thing is like he's protecting his young sister. You gotta get this guy off my sister. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm guessing Lancaster was born in about 1915 to 1920. So at best, he'd be 38 to 44 or something like that. His sister is 19. I'm like, what kind of brother sister? That's a pretty long gap. And I'm thinking, are we supposed to notice that? Is it actually there's something else there, or it's some ward or protege of his? I don't know. I used to be completely like age blind, um, watching movies growing up. Adults were adults. Ugh, I don't
You
know.
just accepted the age
And
differences.
it's like I hear later after the fact, Cary Grant was worried, like, am I too old to romance Eva Marie Saint in North by Northwest? By the way, his mother also only 6 years older than he is, that kind
Yeah,
of thing. And
I
it's
know.
like perfectly fine. Never think about it. But I'm sitting there now, like kind of semi-conscious of it. Like, it's a little weird that there's a 19 to 22 year gap between these siblings, but the whole movie is based on the fact that he's very protective of her. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I almost wonder whether there was an original, even more cynical ending where she does manage to commit suicide or something. It's a little funny. The last shot of the movie is her sort of getting away in the morning sunrise, and everyone else's lives are all wrecked, but she's getting out of there with a suitcase. I guess they show Sidney. He's his moral. He's got this ambition, and it's funny. knowing a little bit about the movie, but never having seen it before, I spent the
Hmm.
first 15 minutes going, what exactly is his job? What does he do? Before they
He's a
finally
PR
said out
guy.
loud, he's a press agent.
Yep.
And what
PR
does that
guy
mean that he does? He gets names into
in the
JJ's
paper.
column. And you think about this, but it's such a bygone era where someone like JJ
Hunsucker.
Hunsaker, not
Yep.
Hunsucker,
Walter
Hunsaker
Winchell.
would have so
Um,
much power and control, be able to manipulate lives, talk to senators flippantly. Why don't you go run along now, Senator?
yep.
President. You know, that kind of
Drew
thing.
Pearson and Walter Winchell
Which
and Hedda
Ed
Hopper
Sullivan
and
was originally one of those guys.
yes, he was. Yep.
And on the West Coast, you had like Luella Parsons, and there was another one of
Hedda
those
Hopper.
ladies. You had a Hopper that
Yeah.
actually they had power, and
Oh,
people would
big
kind of
time.
grovel and like beg, and like a kind
Uh,
word or a mean
he
word would
helped.
just.
He helped impose the blacklist in Hollywood.
I hope I'm not being too loud on my mic. I should because I'm getting all excited, and
You sound good here.
I'm talking like Burt Lancaster, and I gotta
And
pushing it from
Gigi
here, the
Hunsaker.
chest. You gotta get it in there. Uh, anyway, those were very manly men in that era of Hollywood. Him and Kirk Douglas, especially, just
Yeah.
barrel their chests in and start taking over the screen. And they showed a preview before for Ace in the Hole, the Kirk Douglas Billy Wilder thing, where he's a journalist. He finds a guy trapped in a cave, and he's instead of saving the guy, he's gonna milk saving the guy to get the big story. And it's one of the most bleak, cynical things I've ever
Oh,
seen.
totally. Because there's a point at which he realizes, oh, we can get him out. Oh, I
Oh,
don't think we can get him out. Yeah. And
mhm.
he had been able to get him out. There were like at least 3 opportunities to get him out of there.
Yeah.
And he passed all of them.
Meanwhile, the circus outside grows bigger and until there's like there is a Ferris wheel or something like that. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Carney comes. I forgot about that.
I mean, it's just Billy Wilder says, "No, it's an actual circus. We're really going for this metaphor." But yeah, so I was almost wishing as I was watching the movie last night, I wish I had seen this before because I could drink it in better on the screen if I didn't have to play catch up trying to figure out the whole world of it
Yeah.
and how it's working and what exactly Sydney is being asked to do. He's actually being asked to not just break up a musician and JJ's sister, break up
Yeah.
their thing because he doesn't like it, but actually um, harm the guy or really take him out. And eventually he does it by planting marijuana on him.
Exactly. And then he'll lose his cabaret license and
And
then,
call in the cops. Yeah,
yeah.
lose the cabaret license, which is very important. You can't play anywhere in New York. Your
Nope.
career's over.
Yep.
To corrupt cops to come and beat him up, and eventually that's who beats up Sydney at the end. That's really
Yeah.
his punishment. The cops are going to do that to him, and presumably he might be going to jail for arranging all this stuff that he's been doing. And I guess Hans Hunsaker
Hunsucker.
is fine, apart from the fact that he's wrecked his relationship to his sister, and
Yeah.
she'll probably never talk to him again. And then the life goes on in New York City.
Right.
Yeah, the movies were trying to grow up in the 1950s. It's like things are a little more sketchy and ambiguous, and ambition isn't just a marvelous thing where we watch the
No.
starry rise of a hero. Sydney's no hero. He also has kind of
No.
a
And
weird relationship with his secretary, and his office seems to have a bedroom in it.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. He sells out a poor cigarette girl just as one of the things he has to do to get to another step. And so he's kind of impatient. Will you please go sleep with Larry Tate from Bewitched? Would you please? And she doesn't want to.
Right.
And basically, he's like, look, you're pretty morally compromised already with your whole cigarette girl thing. Why can't you just do this one more solid for me? It's really gross. And
That's
she
what I'm saying. It's
does.
very cynical. Very cynical.
It's very cynical. Oh, it was written Ernest Lehman, the guy that wrote North by Northwest, was
Mm-hmm.
story writer with Clifford Odets. So
Oh
some
yeah.
heavy hitting playwright
Big, yeah,
action.
big names.
Big name at that time. Like, what is Odets most famous for? Would you say? Yeah, I don't know either. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, trust us.
yeah.
He's a big name.
Yes, yes. It's not coming to mind right now.
Yeah, I can't quite. I can't bring up the right window while this is all going. So we'll just
Oh, I can
have to
do it.
keep going. I also just tangentially. Are you gonna look it up?
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I
Happen to
did
have the
see
guy plugged in over here.
the big movie this weekend, The Devil Wears Prada 2.
I heard
Is
that's really bad. Is it really
it,
bad?
well, I actually really like the original. I think it's a classic, and I saw
Yeah,
it
I
at a
like the
weird.
original.
It's a fun little. I was at a point where I was having trouble with employment because I was so willing to go. This is kind of difficult, or I don't like this or that, and I would leave. And here was a protagonist who was in that situation, and they kind of yelled at her and said, "Why don't you try a little harder to make this work?" And I remember kind of self-assessing and going, "Yeah, maybe I'm not actually putting in the effort I should for certain things. I could have held on to that longer. I was being a little immature about it." And so that's one of the like serious things that silly movie made me think of. But of course, that Meryl Streep performance is a classic.
Oh yeah,
and
she's
and
really
her
good in
character
that.
has this mystique because you only see her at work. You barely get a glimpse into her home life, but you can see there's things going on. Her marriage is actually
She
falling apart, and
right, and
but it's kind of off screen.
witnesses that. Well, didn't she have to go to the house for
Yeah, but
something?
it's almost like she sees it through a peephole, or she's like looking
Oh,
upstairs.
okay.
She just glimpses it. And here in this movie, within the first 5 minutes, you're in Miranda's home and she's talking to her new husband, and they're just hanging out on a couch. And I'm like, ooh, that removes all the mystique right away.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah, and so
this
she's
gives.
no longer a towering figure in this movie. She's just another character, and in some sense, they try and give her an arc of becoming more of a human being. And then, like, okay, that's not really what we liked the first time. But it's funny because her new husband is Kenneth Branagh. I'm like, oh well, he must be
Oh,
secretly the villain somehow. Like he's going to be the one screwing them over. And I was like, no, actually, he was just playing a perfectly decent bloke of a husband in this one. No arc to him at all. He's not up to any
huh.
shenanigans. He's just pleasant. I'm like, well, then why did you hire Kenneth Branagh to do
Yeah, you could have put
that?
any schmuck in there.
Exactly. Any luck on the Odets?
Well, he had a uncredited dialogue love scene on Notorious, which I thought
Huh.
was interesting.
That is
But that was
interesting.
uncredited, so he wouldn't be known for that.
No.
Of course, this movie, Sweet Smell of Success, um,
What
bigger
about
than
just
life. The
just
Big
play
Knife. That's interesting. That's a play. The Big Knife.
the big knife? That one doesn't ring a bell.
Country
Hmm.
Girl. That's a
Hmm.
play.
I'm sure I know something by Clifford Odets. Why else is his name so famous in my head?
Well,
Anyway,
he's associated with
a
what's his
movement?
face, isn't he? Yeah, the Mercury Players guys.
Oh, okay.
Isn't he hooked in with them? I thought he wrote a bunch of plays for them.
Well, it's possible. I don't know.
Golden
We'll have to look
Boy,
into this. Maybe by next episode we'll
The
figure
General
this
Died at
out.
Dawn. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing about the Devil Wears Prada is like it's amazing that all the actors look remarkably the same as they did 22 years ago
It's
or
Emily
whatever it was.
Blunt,
Emily Blunt,
Hathaway.
just
Yeah,
like the same.
playing. Yeah.
And she's been working the whole time, so we've seen it. There wasn't any sudden thing she did. Pretty good trick. Actually, Stanley Tucci looks the worst for wear of any of them.
Yeah. Well, he's an old man. He ain't
Yeah,
young no more.
yeah, I guess not. Unfortunately, I'm suddenly noticing how old everyone is that I used to always think of as. But it's like a lot of decades have passed. That's why.
Well, he's famous for writing "Waiting for Lefty."
Oh, that is. I have heard of
Do
that.
you remember that one?
Yeah.
He wrote that while he was in the Strasbourg acting school.
Okay.
He had become a
Strasbourg.
charter member of group theater, which had Lee Strasberg, Harold Clurman, and Cheryl Crawford.
Okay.
And
Cool.
quickly became the most famous young playwright in America. Golden Boy, and Rocket to the Moon.
Mm,
Awake and Sing,
yeah.
and I'm missing two more. Oh, the general died at dawn.
Hmm.
I oh yeah, and he was swept into the HUAC nonsense.
Okay.
He was a
Boy, what an
blacklist.
era. um. Yeah. HUAC. Oh, that's not the same, but because of the timing of it, we didn't talk about the Supreme Court decision in Louisiana versus Calais.
Oh, Calais, yeah.
Which I realize like that actually does make me furious. I'm very angry about that. I wasn't vocalizing. It was like, what is this thing I'm feeling? I'm like, I actually am really irritated by this.
Yeah,
Especially the kind of snide and snotty way Alito writes a thing where he's
it
pretending
does.
like,
He's pretending that the 15th Amendment was intended to create color blindness, and that was not what it was meant to do. It
no.
was meant to make sure that the racial sins of the past, the way to be. I mean, it basically says in it that these people they have the right to vote. Black men have the right to vote, and
Oh well,
Congress
thank
has
you.
the right. And Congress has the right to do enabling legislation.
Right.
Nothing in there says, and the Supreme Court can take it away whenever they feel like it.
I- it's almost like even if you're saying we feel like it's done its job and we don't need it, which is dumb. It's a bulwark. It needs to
It's
stay there.
still not your job.
It's
It is
still not
not
your
your
job to
job.
say that legislation is over
Exactly.
with. It expires
Right.
because we say so.
When the Constitution says they have this thing, and Congress has the right to make the legislation to put it into place, and Congress has done just that. You don't have a fucking leg to stand on. Sorry.
They really feel
If you
like
do that, then you are trying to be a super legislature, and you have no right
we
doing that.
get to say what the Constitution says.
Yeah,
Therefore,
it's whatever we say it is. We
it's
don't have
whatever,
to read that.
especially if it leans Republican, then it's like we were definitely going to say what it is. And there was a follow up that I learned from the strict scrutiny ladies
Oh, they're awesome.
where they not only just had this ruling, but also put their thumb in saying, and oh, and by the way, you should get busy implementing what we just said. Like further goosed it along, which allowed Ketanji Brown Jackson to weigh in on a dissent on the little push along and say, well, look what you're doing now. Now you're really showing that this is what you're doing. And Samuel Alito got all pissy and prissy about her pushing back on that and
I
saying,
know
well,
they
it's
hate it
so
when
rude
you
of
tell
you
them
to
the
like
truth.
use your dissent to like say something that we don't know what we're doing. Um, he's it's so obvious what a pinhead he is. You just want to like squeeze it a little bit, just a little squeeze
He,
on his head.
yeah, he has an axe to grind, and um, they. When I look back on the various ways, like Shelby County and the various other,
All leading up.
yeah, they purposely the one that was kind of crucial for this one was the one that said it is non-judiciable for us to say that you can't, it's a political issue to say we're
Right.
going to support or we're going to protect incumbents or our political party.
Hmm.
And once they did that, it was very clever of them because then they could say, you can't do stuff, you can't pack racially hurt racial minorities, but you can do it for political parties.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink. Because if that group votes for one political party more than the other, then they can say, no, we're doing it for political reasons, not racial reasons.
Yeah. How
So
convenient.
it was very, so when you look back at it, they did it in steps, and they were hoping
Methodical
to get people.
steps.
Yeah. And they were hoping that that would make it easier to go down. Mm,
They
You
really
know,
had a goddamn plan that would take
mhm,
years, but they
mhm.
did it. And we're just all sitting here going, "What?" Of course, if you really voted in huge numbers, even red districts could flip a little bit if there were enough people that didn't vote that way. Um, oh, and the other kind of
Well, they
thing.
also have this notion, right? And they always use it to prevent Democrats from changing things too close to an election. Oh, that would be confusing to the voter.
There's one that
The-
wiggles around a lot.
well, Louisiana, they had already opened
How much
primary
closer can you
voting.
get than the election is already happening?
It's happening,
It's
and
happening.
the
Not
governor
anymore.
by fiat, which they call it executive order, but it's by fiat.
Hmm.
I'm close. You no more voting. We're
Nope.
stopping. Done. And the votes that have happened, they're thrown out.
I mean, just the arrogance of all this.
Oh, incredibly arrogant.
Uh,
And then when you call them on it, they get their fifis hurt.
oh,
Oh my God. But
so,
I was listening to oh shoot, you just mentioned
strict
the strict
scrutiny.
scrutiny woman who just wrote the book. Now I'm
Leah,
blanking on her. No,
the
not Leah.
Melissa.
Melissa, yes, she was on the Bulwark show with Tim Miller, and she ran through it. I got to get back to listening to Strict Scrutiny because I love the way they play off of each other. They're hilarious.
Sometimes it gets a
Mm.
little. I realize like I zoned out because they really are just talking about legal stuff. I can't follow
Right, and it
anymore.
gets a little inside baseball, but
Yes.
because they're all they're all brilliant. I mean,
But for
and
major things, it's like I gotta find out what they're saying about this and stuff like
yeah, well, she just wrote a book about everything you need to know about the Constitution. That's not the name of it, but by paraphrasing it,
that.
it explains Constitution, breaks it down, and explains the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments and how important they were.
Yeah.
Mm. One was to address Dred Scott, the 14th Amendment. One was to prevent the South from keeping people from voting, black men from voting, 15th Amendment. And of course, 13th Amendment was the abolition of chattel slavery.
Yeah.
And they left this loophole that you know, only too happy to drive their truck through, and that was except to punish criminals. Then you can
Yeah.
make them do slave labor. Like,
Right.
oh man, we need to get that out.
Yeah, actually, maybe that one's not so great either. You
Well, I
certainly
mean, it
shouldn't
started the
do it
chain
for
gang. That's why there were
profit.
chain gangs. Well, right.
For
Because that's what
profit
chain gangs were
prisons should
for.
not be a thing.
Right.
Anyway.
And even
Um,
before they were truly for profit prisons, the state prisons were making tons of dollars loaning their prisoners out for free to lumber yards,
mhm.
to road building
Rough and
companies.
dangerous work.
Exactly. The chain gangs, the famous chain gangs. Railroad work, people die doing that shit.
Yeah.
So, hey, send a convict. The
Yeah.
Here in Texas, our beautiful 1883 Capitol building was built by slave labor. On a special spur that came in from Marble Falls, and that's where all that beautiful pink granite or
Beautiful.
granite shoals somewhere over there
The
in
slightly
the Llano
radioactive
area.
granite that's so
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful.
beautiful and pink.
Beautiful and
Um,
pink. It
So,
is a lovely Capitol building.
yep.
I
Thank
am
you,
kind of
slave
proud of it,
laborers.
be living in this city where I can see it whenever I want to. It's kind of cool. Um, there are people who are trying to, for example, uh, work
I should
on,
say it was prison labor, but
yeah,
same difference.
work. This is a site that's like Do you need any good news? We'll try and give you some good news. The Citizens United, being the heinous thing that's underpinning a lot of stuff, they realized corporations derive their powers and abilities from states. That's why people go to
Correct.
Delaware for,
They're chartered
but
by
other
states.
states like, was it Montana and
That was the
Hawaii,
first
are
one.
saying, wait a minute, we're in charge of corporations in our state, and
Yep.
we can say they can't contribute money to political things. We can do it state by state if we convince enough states to do it state by state, and then it'll kind of undermine the whole
Yeah.
sweeping thing. And I'm like, well,
Hawaii
that's
has done
interesting.
it.
I don't know how far that's going to go, but yeah, try it wherever you can. Please
And
do.
Montana's close to getting there, but they're Montana, really interesting because in the 70s they changed their constitution to because they were tired of being effed over by the mining companies and the
Oh,
oil extraction companies. Because these people were just doing whatever the hell they want, buying legislators, buying governors,
I'm
and they
sure.
said no more. And they had some of the strictest campaign finance, and so they're pushing again to try to try to push back against this greed. You know, the, there are a lot of people now. There was a lot of not long ago, maybe 10 years ago. There was this starting to be this billionaire um, fanboyism, where
Mhm.
they must be the most brilliant people. We love them, and it went straight to their heads. They think, like, if you read stuff from Mark Andreessen or
Oh boy.
Elon Musk or Peter Thiel or some of these other guys, something happens in their brain
Something happens.
where they think they really start to believe we are better, we are more
We are
evolved,
some sort
we
of a
have to be.
meta-human. We are slightly
Exactly.
more evolved and
We are
higher.
more human. We are more human than you.
Yes.
And therefore, you have to do what we say because otherwise, it wouldn't be a fair society.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
actually believe this drivel. I mean,
yes.
they
They
believe
they
it,
s- they they all talk to each other and convince themselves back and forth that they're I don't know.
right? What are these crazy
But
normal people
something
trying to?
clearly goes. And
Well,
oh, here's
they're
a
now calling it billionaire brain, where they now have they want to get it into the DSM, the syndrome called billionaire brain, where they start to believe their own. What is the
yeah,
phrase? I love the phrase. On their own supply.
high on their own display. I noticed something just aesthetically. Millionaires tend to look pretty good. They have a whole thing they can pay for. Billionaires look like
Just
hot
let
dog shit.
themselves go to shit. Yeah,
They look
because they're
absolutely
billionaires.
ugly, terrible, and they have more money than it. But it must be part of the bubble they're in. There's no
Yeah.
one to tell them you're not looking so hot, Larry Ellison. You
Oh
really
my
look
God.
bad. You
He
really
looks
look bad.
he looks like, as my dad used to say, death warmed over. He
Right?
does not look well.
No, all the money in the world. But millionaires are pretty. Billionaires are
I like
ugly.
that. I never thought of that.
Anyway, there was a there wasn't. The people that put out the No Kings protest wanted everyone to go on general strike on May 1st.
On the
And I
first,
could
yeah,
just I
May
knew
Day.
about it. I'm like, no one's gonna do. I don't think anything's gonna happen. But I was like, well, what can I do? And it's like, oh, I don't usually go shopping anyway, but like I could keep my TV off all day because as soon as I turn it on, ads run and someone gets money. I can't watch YouTube because it's all ads. That's like,
All ads. Oh
and it'll
my
be good for
God.
me to keep. It was a little rough.
Yeah. Yeah. You get addicted to the information.
I'm
You
like
get
I'm
addicted to.
addicted to watching this television, but I was like, oh, and I ended up, practicing and playing music for a while, and I was like,
Oh,
oh yeah,
good.
the times in my life when I've most done that were when I didn't have a TV for one reason or another, because like I got to fill this hour. There's several branches I'm always doing. It's always just for fun. One of the things that would keep me from being a professional musician is if I'm playing and it starts to go really well, I go, wow, yay! And then I'm all off and I can't because I used to try playing the drums. You're supposed to be the steady one. But I do
Right.
like a cool fill. I'm like, yeah, and then suddenly I don't have the
You're
beat
off.
anymore. I can't help it. It's for fun, and I feel the fun. But I'm trying to learn how to sing in harmony, which is something I didn't naturally know how to do. Even growing up liking the Beatles, first of all, and Beatles are all about singing harmonies.
Hmm.
I wasn't really consciously aware what they were, because especially the early songs, John and Paul would sing kind of tightly at the same time. But no, Paul's actually doing this harmony line. It's not quite the
Yeah,
melody;
I
it's a
think
little
he's the third
different.
up. Yeah.
And I remember there was a time when in college I was driving in a car singing along to some early Beatles thing, and the guy next to me said, "Stop, stop, stop! You can't sing it all. Stop! It sounds horrible. Don't sing."
You're ruining
And
the song.
you're ruining the song. And what I'm really surprised by with that is that I do take no for an answer, and I take criticism very seriously, and I get all hurt. And sometimes I'll just stop doing a thing. But I never stop trying to sing. But I realize now what I was doing is my brain and ears having no distinction that there were two voices doing two different things. I would kind of randomly flip between singing John's part, singing Paul's part, singing somewhere in the middle that's like the sound of the two of them. And so, of
Hmm.
course, if you just took my voice out of that, it would sound like this is not the song. I don't know what you're singing. Pick one or the other. But I wanted to sing all three at the same time. Now I
Same
get,
time.
and now there's these YouTubes that break down Beatles songs by individual voice and instrument, and you can hear exactly what they're doing. Here's John's guitar, here's George's guitar, here's the bass, and here's Paul's harmony line, and here's John's other line. And I'm like, oh, if I'd known this, I would have started practicing this a long time ago. It does make sense to me, but I just wasn't working on it. And then I had another thing. I was trying to play. There's also this great new thing of just backing tracks by the thousands uploaded to YouTube free, where they just kind of run in a cycle and play the chords, and it's as if the backing track to karaoke or something. But it's not any
Hmm.
particular song. It's just you jump in with your instrument wherever you feel like it. It'll just keep going. And I was doing that, and I was trying to sort of solo, which is my your left hand kind of on the neck doing the notes, and your right hand's doing this, and it's just like this is hitting too many wrong like notes, and I'm getting frustrated. And then I realized, wait a minute, actually, my left hand is frustrated at my right hand. Let me put my right hand literally behind my back, and because you can actually just hitting the strings with your fingers,
Cameron.
it'll hit the note.
Hmm.
And I started to groove on this groove, and found that I closed my eyes, and my left hand was finding the notes it wanted. And I was doing the Eric Clapton faces you do when you see a guitar player like getting into it, which is another thing that makes me self-conscious and I pop out of it. Like, don't do the face. No good guitar player cares what his face is doing when he's soloing. But I'm like, this is interesting. My left hand is telling me I know where these notes are. And so the problem is the right hand that's like hitting the wrong string 30 or 40% of the time. Like the other guy needs practice. I felt this war in my brain between the two halves. Like whichever one is doing the one, it's like I'm really annoyed. Like if you did one of those epilepsy, I'd be totally at war
Yeah.
with them.
Separate
One hand
the.
needs practice, and it's not me. You keep thinking it's me. No, it's the other guy. I'm like, okay, I'll work on it. But it's a new way of practicing, like not just because I've been playing at sort of an amateur BS level, but for enough decades, like there's enough. I have played for 10,000 hours spread over 30 years. Why have I not really increased at all over that? It's like, well, maybe I need to be practicing smarter and more targetedly and figure out which
Mm.
exercises and find out like, oh yeah, my hands actually have a lot of practice. I just need to do it a little smarter, and then they'll get back in sync, and then I'll actually sound like I've been playing better for longer. Anyway, it's a whole life deal that I'm doing as again just for fun, but it's nice to keep that active. And I need to turn off my
Mm.
TV more often, or I can't do it.
Yeah,
I
that's a
just
good
don't.
idea.
You think I would? Like, just turn it off and then play. It's like somehow turning that off is actually harder than it seems like it should be. Although I was thinking what doing some kind of general strike. I'm like, I keep hearing so many bad things about Jeff Bezos and where he really puts his money,
Yeah.
and how I contributed that by having subscribed to Amazon and order it all the time, and it makes my life slightly more convenient.
Yeah, it
And I'm
does.
like, is there going to come a day where I'm like, I really have to like stop being an Amazon customer? Um, I'm like, I might. I can't quite do it yet. I've got other other problems I'm fighting in my life that I need to work on first. But yeah,
I
I think it
used,
is starting to hit my conscience. Like I'm giving money, a
yeah.
few pennies compared to his whole fortune, but like maybe it just matters to me in my conscience that my pennies are not part of that. Ugh.
Yeah. No, I mean, I tried, what I found was when let my subscription to IMDb Pro, wasn't using it as much to
Yeah.
contact people in the industry. Well, can I justify this expense? And so I canceled it. And in a very short period of time, I get an email saying, "Hey, come back to IMDb Pro at just 99 a year." And it was like, "Oh, you want to give me a $60 discount? All right, I'll do it." And I was actually working with Adventures in Zero World. It was useful for
Hmm.
me to contact people again. Um, I did it, and I thought, "Oh, what if I do the same thing with my yearly Amazon Prime thing?" I did that. I just canceled it, and I said, they never offered a lower price
Never.
because they don't have to.
They don't have they had FU money.
Yes,
Because
but they
there was
never
a
offered
stage
one.
when they would
They
like
would.
immediately offer you. I mean, try canceling a credit card. They kept upping my credit limit to like 50,000, 80,000. Please come back. I'm like, geez, I'd rather not, because I got into some serious debt troubles in my 20s
Well,
because of
now
you,
that they want you to come back for you.
that they did not want to let me go, and they were offering me strange, huge benefits to come back. Um, and I was, again, they're betting pennies from a pauper like me. They're not really, I'm not,
Yeah, it's just volume for them. Some actuarial said there are X number of these folks, and we need to get them with credit cards because we'll make a bank off of them alone. And
or
so,
maybe they can even say like, well, actually, here's a guy he has a college education. He's
mhm.
starting out. If we have him for 30 years, he's going to be buying yachts and boats. That didn't happen, but they could
But
say,
it could,
well,
they
as a
only need a
lifelong
couple of
customer,
them
we need to nail this guy down now,
because it could happen.
because it could happen. The chances were pretty good. Well, okay, I'm almost done here. Although I had a so we were doing a writing exercise on just yesterday was Monday. Some guy that we were trying to think
Hmm.
what's interesting about epistolary novels, and I said, "Hey, Dracula's an epistolary novel." It's like, yes, that's right, and a few other things. There was a debate about whether The Martian, because he's like documenting himself with emails. Like, is that epistolary or is that not? Yeah, arguably it is.
Yeah.
Um, and
Like
then they
if
wanted to
if
do
it
it.
were like diary entries, you could
Yeah,
say that.
I'd
Yeah,
say
you could say
diary
that.
entries count.
Yeah.
But they're like, okay, how do we do this as an exercise? And like, well, maybe. And someone said, maybe we could just all, like Secret Santa, write a letter to someone else in the group at the table, and we exchange the letters, and then we do something else after that. And I was like, I don't know, I really feel like doing that. uh, everyone's an acquaintance. No one's like really tight,
Close. Yeah.
close, and then the lady next to me said, well, you'd bet, to the group leader, well, you'd better assign it, otherwise it'll just be Rob. Everyone will want to write a letter to Rob. And I was honestly astonished. I'm like, what does that mean? Am I like secretly really popular and I don't know it? Tell me, because I could use the self-esteem boost. What did I just get a peek into with her little sideways comment like that? And there's a lot of ladies. It's not
Wow.
exclusively, but mainly it seemed like one lady to the other ladies were joking that they'd all like to write a letter to me. I'm like, Huh.
That sounds like it's a good thing.
I think that's a good thing. It
Yeah.
was said with a smile and a kind of wink around the table, but I'm like, but wait, let me in on it. I want to enjoy. If something's going on that I could be enjoying, I want to know about it.
You should have said,
Anyway,
"Yeah, I want to write a letter to me
although they
too."
probably
So
like the fact that I'm humble and don't seem to be like walking around swanning around
play
like
yourself.
I'm Mr. Perfect or something. I act like I'm some schmo who's just sitting there.
Oh,
Uh,
dude, can I tell you a little story about? We just went to dinner at a place here in Austin, and I had to use the WC.
mhm.
But it said on the door, the WC. I had to use the WC, and I go in there, and I'm using it, and I hear water running, and so I'm in a WC, so I'm like, "Where? What's running? Is it the toilet? Is it the sink? What? Is there a leak?" They decided, I don't know, maybe because people like that white noise, they decided to put it in a speaker in there. And I'm thinking, this is a really bad idea because you just made me tense. But I have to go out there and tell you that excuse me, but I'm in there and the water's running and I can't see where. But there was a little speaker about this big sitting up in the corner, and they put that in. And what did they think that was gonna, the running water, it will help
The white
people
noise or
pee or something,
facilitates
or make
urination
people,
for
yeah.
people with prostate problems and things.
And I was
Sometimes it
like,
helps to
that is
get you started.
weirdest damn thing I ever, and it stuck with me. And I said,
You were rattled.
I'm not down with that. No, that's not right. I wanted to rip the little guy out of the wall, but I'm
That
not
one
that
doesn't
kind of
work for
guy.
me. It sets me on edge.
Yeah, I was a bit on edge. I was a bit on edge.
Oh, I have a bathroom story. I'll save it for another time, but I do want to tell it
Okay.
once. Um, and I guess I made it through the whole show without being having to call for a commercial break in the middle. But just in case, maybe we better wrap it up. Um,
Yeah.
you never know with these things. Well, I appreciate you coming and making the time, even though we had a thing to do today. Um, we are somewhat following the news, and now that we have a possibility of just uploading these right away, we're really close to just it goes live and it's there, and I don't do anything. We're really
That's the
close
way
to
it
that.
ought to be.
I do like to
Yeah.
check the audio levels. I had to ramp them up like 12 dB last time. The waveform
Hmm.
was not fat enough. We were balanced towards each other, but the whole thing sounded a little quiet. But basically, I'm like, yeah, and I don't need to like put the titles on it or anything. Because when I'm watching YouTube, I think when I started, don't do a whole. You're not a TV show. You don't need credits. Just start talking about what you're talking about. That's what I like to see as a viewer. So we'll just do that.
Hmm. All right.
So either later tonight or tomorrow, this will just be up, and that'll be it. I'll just like there. All right. I'll see you next time, Tom.
All right,
Thanks for
man.
talking.
Take care.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Same to you. Bye.